Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Kapil. I am an engineering manager leading the server software team in Google. And I have with me Robbie, who is the software lead in the server team. So today we'll talk about a problem that we face and how DC Stack software ties into it. We'll talk about the problem. We'll talk about what would we like as an end goal, and then finally how we can collaborate together to make that happen. Okay, so what's the problem? So today, a hyperscaler like Google is not able to take a machine, whether an off-the-shelf machine or an OCP machine, and integrate into the data center. And why is that? It's not because of non-differentiating, because the requirements are different. It's because of non-differentiating requirements. So as an example, you don't just want the machine to boot up. You want it to have security properties. You want it to manage the machine. You want to have repairs working. But today, none of these use cases are really satisfied by any standard set of guidelines or principles. So, as an example, let's say there's a company here who can develop a great accelerator. Now, we would like to ingest it into our data center, but we cannot because it doesn't satisfy a given security property that we would want. So OCP is great in terms of defining the modular hardware architecture, but what is missing is the software piece to tie that together to the use cases. So there is no articulation of what software we need and what is the security stance, and there is no reference implementation of a working solution. And that's the problem today. So just to give a specific example, Robbie.
Thank you very much, Kapil. So I just would like to talk about two different things that are on this list. So turn up first. We have, as Google, have been building machines already for several years, decades actually, and we got used to the way how we are turning up machines. It's going to be pretty complicated for us to get an OCP machine and turn it in the DC. So what are the biggest issues? First of all, you get a machine from a vendor. It doesn't matter who you get it from, and they will ask you to configure the machine somehow. And they will ask you, for example, to connect to a Windows machine and configure something. And the first thing I say, okay, we usually do not have Windows machines in our data centers. It's really hard for us to get a Windows application running in Google Data Center. We have too many technicians, and we just cannot give everybody a Windows machine. The second problem that happens is that they are asking you to connect to a user interface and maybe a web page or something like that, hosted by the machine, and do some configuration there. That's also good, and it works with a few machines, but it does not work at scale. You cannot ask our technicians to do that for thousands of machines. And the second problem is about firmware upgrade, downgrade. It seems to be an easy thing to upgrade the BIOS or upgrade the BMC. But if you look at the current machines, how many different flashables, so non-volatile memories you have in the system, it can be easily like 10, 15 different SPI flashes, CPID configurations, VR configurations, and everything. And you have to set up them in a specific order. Especially to do the boot attestation and to make sure that everything is right, you are supposed to update first the TPM module or TCG module, whatever you have, then your BMC, then your BIOS, and so on and so on. This can also sometimes add circular dependencies, where you may have a smart NIC, for example, which has a firmware which depends on the BMC firmware, but you cannot update the BMC firmware without updating the NIC firmware first.
Thank you, Ravi. So the problem is, it's not that if you fix a problem for one cloud vendor, it works for everyone else, because even though the requirements may be similar, the reference software, the architecture, and the choices are very different. So that's where what we would like is, how can we get a machine which satisfies all the requirements and can be ingested quickly into the data center? So one way would be to, for the hyperscalers to define the requirements via test that the vendor can actually run ahead of time and validate that it meets those requirements. And then a third party can actually verify that it meets the requirement using reference software. So this is an example of a stack that we have, which we run in Google at scale. So we use Linux boot, and we run that at scale. We have OpenBMC running at scale. And again, this is one example of what we do, but it doesn't have to be this way. We can actually include other standard interfaces as well. So the idea is to have these building blocks, then define the standards and interfaces, and then have a reference implementation using which we can validate these requirements are met. Ravi?
Thank you. So what we are trying to say is that we believe that everybody in this industry is facing the same problems. If you are doing a turn-up in the machines, first you want to verify that the machines are working, and you do not do that in the data center first, but you do that during L10 integration at the vendor. They are having some kind of test tools to verify that the machines are working. You get that delivered machine to the data center. You have to verify again that during transport everything is still safe and everything is still healthy. You're just doing basically the same test as you were doing already at the vendor. And then if the machine goes into repairs, maybe it's shipped back to the vendor, they are doing again test. It does not have to be the same vendor as the machine you got it from. If you are going to resell the machine sometimes later on, you do again test, and this can be yet a third or fourth different vendor. And basically what we are saying that it's going to be the same software that you need, the same kind of software solution you need, and you can do it, everybody can do its own, or you can do something that's shareable across the ecosystem, and we believe this is the better one to share it. We do not believe that there would be any secret source in many of this stuff. So turn up, firmware upgrade, downgrade, hardware telemetry collection, it should be standardizable, and there is nothing that can be different there. Redfish has been mentioned here, and Redfish is also very interesting stuff because yes, we do have Redfish specification, and yes, you can get an OCP machine which supports Redfish, but it does not mean that it's good for Google. We may have requirements. For example, we need to identify a faulty module, and for the faulty module to identify, we need to know exactly where it is located. That means that we just need more information about the module, so we need to know on which motherboard it is, if there are multiple motherboards in this system, on which CPU, and maybe also to find out what's on the seal screen, so that the technician can easily identify that faulty module. Redfish has this information, but it's all optional. So to make it sure that it works for you, you have to make sure that that specific item is available by the Redfish solution that you are going to use. Similarly, for ACPI and SMBIOS tables, Google is running quite a lot about on SMBIOS and ACPI tables and the validity of that data. If something is missing, you may say that it's OCP compliant, but it won't work at Google because we just simply miss the ACPI information that our kernel is heavily relying on. We do have a lot of validators, and many of them is already open source, and we try to open source as many as possible. We are going to say that we know that for Google, this is the important data that we need. We would expect other hyperscalers also to, if they want, to contribute to that and say that, okay, for them, this is the important information. And then if we provide a common set of requirements to everybody, then all the vendors can make sure that the software they provide is good for Google and good for everybody else that you want to work together with. Oh, sorry. So this is an example of for reference software that we already know, and we do see a big value in this one. It's how we are doing the BIOS development and how the Google BIOS is currently going to scale out and how we are changing. Obviously, not every machine that we have in Google Data Center is using Linux boot, but many of them it is already, and it's going to be more and more. And we see a big win in this one, and we did see this happening already today, thanks to our Facebook Meta friends who were showing that they were able to run CXL memory on Coreboot using Intel Sapphire Rapids. We believe that having a common Coreboot between different vendors and having that as an open source is a big win for the ecosystem. It's just going to make things easier. The same thing about uroot. Uroot is on GitHub. It's if you do not know it, it's a Go-based application. Basically, it's a user space replacement for your Linux-based bootloader. And the Node OS is our target operating system. It doesn't matter what kind of kernel you are switching into. The BIOS and the Linux boot is providing the kexec capability to boot almost any OS. And we do see the data that it has.
Yeah, so this is how it ties all together. OCP, of course, has modular hardware architecture, and what we want to add is this standards and interfaces for software, validation, and then reference implementation. And it will benefit vendors by removing the non-differentiating barriers and opening up the market. And end users benefit because you can focus on innovation and not on the non-differentiating stuff, and then get to market faster with their designs. Robbie talked about the boot stack, but this is an overall framework which kind of what we would like to put together. So there is the OCP modular architecture. OCP is not a standards body, but we can work closely with the various standards body to define these standard interfaces, and then have the right open source ingredients in various pieces. So BootStack we talked about, but there's OpenBMC for out of band, there's a security stack, and so on. So there's opportunity at each level to standardize, and it doesn't have to be one specific standard. As long as it is open and the right interfaces are defined, we have flexibility within each block to support multiple different reference implementations. Okay. So this is essentially a call to action. If this is something of interest, you would like to join forces, we can work together to define these standard interfaces and reference software, and then use the right open source components. Thank you.